Hey, this is Raul for Bass Musician Magazine, and we are here in the historic Aladdin Theater in rainy Portland, Oregon.
It's not raining now.
A little bit. With world-renowned bassist extraordinaire and the star of our 8th anniversary issue cover, Mr. Stu Hamm.
Hey man, how are you? Good to see you.
Good to see you. Good to see
It's not
you.
raining. We were in Seattle this morning. No, it was raining
it was
up there.
raining.
That's rain.
I hope it holds that way for you just while you're here, because this morning, while you were probably in Seattle, it was coming down pretty good here. So we'll see. But getting away from the weather, because that's the classic topic of the Great Northwest, let's talk a little bit about what you've got going on. You're on your tour.
Yep.
This is how far in are you?
This is the second date of this leg. We did about a week earlier in December. I had a crazy tour. I left LA on Thanksgiving Day, and then I drove across the country doing solo bass gigs in Salt Lake City, Denver, Kansas City, St. Louis, and then I met the band in Cleveland, and we did a week of dates, and then I joined another tour with Jane Getter, and we ended that tour on December 16th at the Iridium in New York. And then I went back for the holidays, and then we started here, and this goes right up down the coast to the NAMM show. We play Monday at Yoshi's in San Francisco, Oakland, and then Tuesday of the NAMM week at the Baked Potato in LA, and then we're all in LA. Friday night at LA, I'm playing the J.T. Schmitt's Bass Jam, doing that thing. The new event at the old location.
Exactly. It's turned into, there's like 3 bass
yeah.
events happening, but that is the home
be
of
fun.
the classic event. Yes.
Yeah.
That should be a blast. And this is the Stu Hamm Band that you're playing with. And
It is.
You have, it's obviously you on bass. Who else comprises your band?
Great. On drums, I've got Joel Taylor. You know, Joel is a LA guy. He's, I guess, best known for playing with Alan Holdsworth, and he's been out with Al DiMeola for the last year or so with Armand Sabaleka on bass. He and I met years ago. We've done a bunch of gigs and recording with Frank Gambale. So we've played quite a bit together. And on guitar, I've got Alex Skolnick, who is, I guess, best known for his work with Testament and Metal Allegiance. And then it's great because he was the original guitar player in my band back in like 1990-91 when we all had big hair. And I sort of had a hit with Lone Star, and we did a tour. And now here we are 25 years later, touring again, and we're like better musicians. You know, we've both grown a lot, and we're better people, and we just are enjoying being around each other and continuing to grow and learn as musicians.
Very cool.
So it's great. The band is really good. In putting a band together, you really want to get diverse elements that are going to work. And so they had never met before we did our first gig last summer when I did a tour of the West Coast, and it was great.
Very cool. And are you guys... I know you're working on so many things, because I know you've got all the things you're working with Warwick and bass design, and when you go to Europe and all that. I remember I actually wrote a review on one of your last CDs, the one that had a polka in it or something. And I'm kind of going, I can't believe I'm listening to polka after I started out on accordion with Frankie Yakovich and the Yanks back in the day. But
the clarinet polka, yeah. Well, you know, I mean, it's harkening back on my first record. I had that song "Country Music at Night in Hell," where I played sort of Foggy Mountain Breakdown, and it's sort of a skit where we're in a club. I don't know if you're familiar with the track. At the end of it, someone yells, you know, in the gag, you know, play a polka. Yeah. So I was doing like a weird. A wedding or some kind of gig, because I'm a working musician. I do gigs, you know, and they called clarinet polka, and it was in C, and it was perfect for using open strings, and so it just worked out to file great. And you know, I downloaded about a dozen versions, you know, Myron Florian, and there's some great friggin' harmonic, you know, accordion players, and I tried to cop, you know, some of their sort of licks and you know, mannerisms
from the Lawrence Welk days. I remember Myron. Yes.
Well, those guys are badass. I mean, even, you know, I hate to say it, but you know, I used to just, you know, turn shades of purple whenever Lawrence Welk would come on. But you know, I enjoy watching. They're actually really good musicians.
Absolutely.
You know, it's dorky in sort of a nostalgic sort of way, but they're really good musicians. So.
Well, and what it told me is that, especially with your CD, you played whatever you wanted to. It's like, hey, it's your thing. You got to lay down. So you weren't putting it out there going, I think I'm going to draw in the whole polka crowd. It's like, I'm gonna do this. And I really enjoyed it. Do you have anything in the works for, you know, upcoming CD recording
I do. I have had a really 2015 was a really I don't know what the word is, challenging year for me. So I'm sort of documented it in music, and so the next record that I'm putting out, it's a bit of a stretch. I'm writing a book to go along with it,
okay.
And it's a total solo base, sort of about the experiences I had traveling. I've been traveling just sort of nonstop. I sort of take it upon myself to travel for 18 months until things sort of sort themselves out.
Gotcha.
So till next July, I'm just keep moving, and so it's good. It's pretty conceptual. I had a wonderful 3 weeks in Pescara in Italy. And I wrote a lot of the music for it and recorded a bunch of it. So I'm really excited about it. I have 2 more songs I need to write, and I have a pretty good idea of what one of them is going to be. And I'm just waiting for the inspiration to hit me to write the last record, the last piece on the record.
Very cool. I can understand how Italy would be inspiring. If nothing else, eating good and having a
It
good
was great.
Chianti.
Well, man, I'd never. I mean, never in my life have I stayed 3 weeks in one spot, and it wasn't even the experience. It was just having the time of, when you're writing a recording. At least for me, I can't just wake up and, brush my teeth and go sit down and start writing a recording. Mm-hmm. You sort of got to, clean out your closet and get warmed up and let things happen. So to be in that environment, for the first week, I just rode my bike to the beach and, ate pizzas for lunch, and then after a week, just because of my OCD, I was like, I got to do something. So it was just a great spot to just collect my thoughts and write. If I'd had one more week, I could have got the whole record done. But
there you go. Well, no, it's in the works though, and it gives us something to look forward to.
It is.
And coming back, I know I talked a little bit because again, you've got your bass here, and what you've been working with Warwick.
Right.
Tell us a little bit. That's kind of an interesting.
I was always really interested in bass design. I was the first person ever to have a Fender Signature bass, mm-hmm. the very first one. I've worked, I continue to grow and hopefully learn and evolve as an instrument designer as well. And I've learned a lot through my years from the great people I've worked with. And Steve Bailey and a bunch of other people had been with Warwick and been telling me for years about what a great thing Hans-Peter Wilfer and Marcus Spangler, who's the main designer over there. Mm-hmm. So I was on tour in Europe and had a couple of days off, and they took me over to Markneukirchen, where the factory is, and I got a tour, and it's wonderful the whole ergonomic and environmental way they age their wood, and carbon neutral and all that stuff. And the main thing for me was really meeting Marcus, who's the main bass designer and instrument designer, and we talked for hours and hours and hours about different things, and we designed some basses and tried some things and had a couple spectacular failures. We had this one idea we came up with, and we couldn't believe that no one had thought of it before, so we spent time and money building one, and the reason that no one had done it is because it was a really stupid idea. But at least they had the nerve and the balls to try it.
Sure.
And to try to do it at with the highest quality, and by doing that we learned a lot about it. So it's great, and I'm just so lucky. This is a new fretless. We're still experimenting a little bit with the body design. This is almost there. It needs to be this part of the body needs to come out a little more to balance it. And I'm just so lucky. I mean, just I can't even remember what day it is, but 3 or 4 days ago when I was in San Francisco, I drove up to Santa Rosa, and I know Rob Turner at EMG, and
mm-hmm.
I had Rob Turner and Bobby Vega just taking my bass apart and
I saw the picture
tweaking
on
it.
Facebook or something.
It was great.
Yeah.
I'm just so lucky. So the basses are sounding absolutely marvelous, and I'm really excited to take this. I just had this bass for 4 or 5 days. It came when I was away for the holidays, and
nice.
It sounds great, and I'm looking forward to getting home after this tour and after the NAMM show and just working it and seeing what we can come up with.
There you go. Very cool. Is there anything else you'd like to talk to us about? I mean, it's so much. You're always doing so many things.
I'm trying to stay busy. Busy is good.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What am I doing? I'll be in Europe with Jane Getter, who's a prog rock guitar player with Adam Holtzman on keyboards, mm-hmm. and then I'm doing some stuff with Dennis Chambers and Greg Howe later in the year, and then I've got in the fall after the Warwick camp, I'm doing a tour of Europe with my band with Craig Blundell on drums from the Stephen Wilson Band, and who I met playing on the Jennifer Batten tour. And Jennifer's coming down tonight.
Oh, nice.
Right. And Greg Howland guitar on that. And looking forward to doing the new record. And I'm playing upright bass for the first time in a long time.
Well, there you go.
So, I'm just really happy to, be alive and be motivated to keep playing bass. I think I'm getting better. I'm definitely improving, which is nice.
That's why they call it the practice.
It's
right?
a practice, yeah. So now I'm just happy to be busy and
very cool.
keep working.
I'm going to take a bit upright bass. A lot of people don't cross over. What?
Oh, I have no illusions of maybe someday I'll get it where I can play a few gigs on it. So I've played it on a few gigs I work with Carl Verheyen, who's a session guitar player in LA,
Sure.
and there's a couple of ballads. I bring it out. I suck at it, but I'm taking it really slowly. And it's great. As you get older, you can learn to measure progress in weeks, and not need the instant gratification.
Gotcha.
And so I'm just really methodical. Every time I practice, on my iPhone, I put a pitch, whatever, and I'm working through the Simandl book, and I spend a week on every page until I can play it in tune. And you keep at it, and then right before I left, I picked up my bass, and all of a sudden, I'm not good, but I didn't suck.
Gotcha.
My hands went to there, and I could play it in tune. And so, I'm never going to be Brian Bromberg or. I'm not even up to the octave position yet, or all that stuff.
Absolutely. Well, it's players like Brian that can go back and forth.
Well, he's great. Yeah, he's a freak.
And I've listened to Avishai. We saw him in concert here in Portland, and you kind of go, "Oh my gosh, the guy can play upright. He can play electric." It's just
for me, it's another way of again learning knowledge and continuing to grow and to sort of approach the bass in a different manner.
Gotcha.
And some of that stuff I can apply to an electric bass, and some I can't. But it's fun.
Excellent. Well, I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule. We're looking forward. We're going to see the tour, the show tonight, the Stu Hamm Band here in Portland. If you are able to see this as they continue to travel nomadically across the country.
Well, we're straight down. We're in Eugene tomorrow, and then Reading, and then Sacramento, and then next Monday at Yoshi's in Oakland, which is going to be great. I've got so many friends coming to that show. And
Excellent.
Then the Baked Potato in LA the Tuesday before NAMM. I got just a host of people that are in town for the show coming, guests sitting in, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Gotcha. Well, we're very excited to see it, and if you have the opportunity, make sure you see Stu and his band playing. Also, look forward in the future for more music and a book and all this exciting things.
Well, the record's called The Diary of Patrick Xavier.
Excellent.
So there you have
it. We're scooping everybody. We know about it before anybody else. Well, thank you. You've seen it here on Bass Musician Magazine.